Alright guys, this is the first thing you're going to need for getting more range out of your WLtoys V262. Come on buddy, focus. Focus. There we are. You're going to need a RP-SMA pigtail, and this thing is tiny, 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 tiny. And basically inside of there is a coaxial cable, and I've already pre-stripped this, but usually there's, on the one I got, there's this little connector right here. It's for laptop Wi-Fi. And so basically this was $3 on Amazon. So what you do is you strip back that outside insulation and then twist the outside wires together, and there will be a smaller, much more delicate wire inside. Alright guys, so this is what you'll have when you're done with that step. Next step is to just strip off just the very end of that inside insulation. We're also going to twist that up. Alright, so that part's done. You can't really see it very well, but just the very end of that is stripped. And the next step would be to tin both of them. And you want to be careful, because that inside electrode, if you hold your soldering iron too long, or if your soldering iron is not hot enough, it will just straight up melt that insulation. You'll have to cut it further back and further back and further back until you have nothing left. So, like I said, be very careful when you're soldering that inside electrode. Alright, so now that we have that tin, you want to take out the 5 screws holding your controller together. This one, there's one on the antenna. That goes right in there. That one, and that one. And just a little trick, once you're got the screw out of the antenna, it actually just slides off. So do that, and then you will be able to pull this off. Be very careful of the battery cables. They're not very long, just long enough that you can fold it out. And then here's your factory antenna. So that, if we get a little closer, there's your solder joint, and you can see there on the left it is the center of that SMA cable, and then on the right you can see the outside. So what we need to do is unsolder that, take ours, which we've just made up, and put the center right there and the outside right there. And final step will be mounting the SMA connector, which mine came with a bunch of nuts and washers, so that should be pretty easy. All I did to break the factory antenna tube off was take my dikes and just squeeze, and it more breaks than cuts, so it just breaks right off, and then you can screw your SMA connector there. Alright, so now that we have that all soldered up, you should have something that looks like this. I left my cable nice and long. I'm just going to loop it around like that, so it has very little stress on the cable itself, and then not in there. Then just put that there and tighten the nut down, and we're going to have an RP-SMA connector. So I'll just show you it when it's complete, and we'll get back. Alright, so here it is. RP-SMA connector on the WLtoys V262 transmitter, and I do recommend this modification to anyone because it's super simple, and it's probably still worth it even if you use a 2 dBi antenna, which is about as basic as you can get. But a higher gain means more range, does not mean more power, so you cannot fly directly at the point of a high gain omnidirectional whip antenna. But as far as this goes, I'm going to be putting a 5 dBi antenna on there, and that was actually recommended by Quadcopter 101. He helped me out. He kind of pointed me in the right direction for this build, so I just took it and made a how-to, and there it is. I'll get back with results of range with a 5 dBi antenna on there.